Are you willing to get up on a stage and talk truly about these programs, Social Security and Medicare, running out of money and that they absolutely must be reformed? Will that be part of your platform?
Absolutely. We've got to talk about the fact that we have to have an honest conversation with the American people. And I think part of that is that Washington, D.C. is on a spending spree and they need to go on a serious diet. And that means we look at everything.
That was former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. And she's kicking off her presidential campaign with a pledge to gut what she calls entitlement spending and what millions of regular Americans call their Social Security and Medicaid. But that isn't even the weirdest part of Haley's campaign launch. Take a look at this from her announcement video.
My parents reminded me and my siblings every day how blessed we were to live in America. Some look at our past as evidence that America's founding principles are bad. They say the promise of freedom is just made up. Some think our ideas are not just wrong, but racist and evil. Nothing could be further from the truth. I have seen evil.
The first minute of Haley's 3-minute-long video does its best to convince you racism isn't real and that anyone fighting against racism is fighting against America. From showing grainy footage that equates the 1619 Project to violent looting or a shot that darkens the skin of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Haley isn't being subtle here. Though let's be fair, I believe Haley when she says she's seen evil. After all, she voluntarily chose to work for and defend Donald Trump. But Haley wasn't done throwing red meat to her Republican audience.
And when evil did come,
police in South Carolina are looking for a gunman following a shooting at a church in
Several
downtown
victims.
Charlotte.
We don't know the severity.
we turned away from fear, toward God, and the values that still make our country the freest and greatest in the world.
Yeah, that's right. That was Nikki Haley using footage of the 2015 Charleston church shooting to make a point about her commitment to God. It is mind-bending to see footage of the 2015 shooting at the Emmanuel AME Church without any reference made to why that shooting happened. But then again, Nikki Haley really does not want to talk about racism, unless, of course, she's giving an interview where she's praising the glory of the Confederate flag.
Here is this guy that comes out with his manifesto holding the Confederate flag and had just hijacked everything that people thought of. And we don't have hateful people in South Carolina. There's always the small minority that's always going to be there. But, people saw it as service and sacrifice and heritage. But once he did that, there was no way to overcome it.
Haley's entry into the race isn't likely to sit well with her former boss, Donald Trump. Haley not only defended Trump during his presidency, she also made the wild claim that she doesn't believe Trump has ever lied to her. But if she thinks that loyalty will protect her, she should think again.
That you're not going to kick sideways, but we've seen Donald Trump on the debate stage, and I guarantee you he will kick sideways, and he will come after you. And you're going to have to stand up to that.
And when I'm kicked, I kick back. When I'm kicked, I kick back.
And what will your argument against him be?
Well, let's wait and see if he's got a criticism first. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't said anything.
When directly asked what her argument to the Republican voters actually is, Haley has nothing to say. And that's her first tactical mistake, because for the past week, Donald Trump's pals have been leaning into brutal attacks against her. Now, she may claim not to see them, but Republican voters certainly do. And it isn't even clear Haley's own followers understand why she's running for president. Her video announcement met with, well, let's call it an interesting reception online, with many loyal Republicans accusing Haley of disrespecting Donald Trump. One called Haley, quote, the status quo of neoconservatism. And even conservative media outlets are noting that Haley doesn't seem to have any answer when asked why she's even running. Not great. There's a reason Haley looks so uncomfortable. It's because in her effort to triangulate exactly what she thinks Republicans want, Haley has lost any sense of herself. She had banked on running a center-right campaign. Well, the center-right has vanished in the GOP, and now Haley is playing dress-up as a right-wing culture warrior. It's an awkward fit, as you can see. That's not to say Haley hasn't done a whole lot of terrible things. In South Carolina, she was the driving force behind a restrictive abortion ban that even South Carolina's doctors say hurts women. And she criticized Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for not going far enough with the state's Don't Say Gay bill. Nikki Haley expected her presidential announcement to shift the foundations of the GOP. She was met with a bunch of uninterested shrugs. Like Mitt Romney, Haley is an empty suit who mainly knows how to climb the political party ladder. But because of her weakness in the face of Trump, much of that party machinery is now in ruins. She has only herself to blame. Haley kicked off her campaign by doing what she does best, bending her values and even her identity to please others. She represents the last gasp of a dying Republican establishment, one out of ideas and uninterested in actually governing. The American people are right to brush her off. If you made it to the end, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. And leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.